If you're expecting a bunch of guru fluff and get-rich-quick garbage, you've come to the wrong place. This show is the no bullshit real deal.
No bullshit real deal.
I'm Larry Harbolt, and they call me the real deal. Welcome to my show. This show is aimed at providing you with quality information so you can make more profit in the fastest way possible without making costly mistakes from the deals you do.
Let's get started.
Hello, everyone. Today I want to do another podcast about some of the deals that you're going to come across when you're out in the real world. I had so many good responses about the first podcast where I gave everyone who regularly listens to me 3 deals that really stretch your thinking cap, and that I thoroughly explained at my Never Step Into a Bank Again 4-day training. But in each of these deals I talk about, in previous podcasts, I explained how the deals, what they were, what the situation was. And when you're faced with similar situations, I want you to be able to structure a deal. Now, may I recommend going back and listening to my past podcasts to solve the problems related to the deals that I'm talking about today. You'll find them in previous podcasts. Now, I truly believe that these deals I talk about, I think that's about the best way for you to learn how to think creatively. See, the key to make more and better deals with sellers is to pre-think of several different ways to solve the seller's problem while you're creating a deal that's good for both of you. That's very important. Now, today, the first deal I want to go over with you was one where the seller wanted to sell his home and retire. He wanted to take the money from selling of his house and buy a motor home. And he was going to travel the country for years to come. That was their dream. Well, the sellers, as expected, wanted all cash for their house to be able to travel and live comfortably. Well, of course, I wanted their house, but I wasn't going to pay them retail for their house, let alone give them all cash. So after some serious negotiating, I convinced the seller to allow me to buy their house if I could provide them with a motorhome that they approved of. And then what we would do is we would deduct the value of the motorhome from the price they were asking for the house. Now, part of that amount was going to be used as the down payment and for several months of the monthly payment. Now, a motorhome that they approved of was found and bought to deliver to the seller. But here's the key. No money was taken out of pocket to buy the motorhome by me. See, the details of this deal can be found in a previous podcast, and it's also taught in great detail at my 4-day Never Step Into a Bank Again training. This deal you need to know and understand how to do because you may come across a situation like this. You can't learn too much, and you must be creative. You got to think outside the box. That's why I want you to put on your thinking cap, and I want to stretch your brain. I want you to do more research. Go back and listen. That's very, very important. Okay, that was the first deal. Now, the second deal. This deal, it was a property I discovered from one of my letters, and this seller was, same as all sellers, they wanted all cash for their house. Well, these sellers lived in the property, and they were in their mid-80s, and both were in less than good condition, good health. So I talked about this deal in a previous podcast also. See, the situation was the 86-year-old husband had previously had surgery, and they still owed the hospital nearly $30,000. And they were selling off their property to pay the debt because the hospital was threatening to damage their credit. And they just couldn't let that happen at 86 years old. So when I start asking the sellers questions, if you remember, there are 6 critical questions that you've got to ask every seller to be able to put together a deal that's going to be good for both of you, both you and the seller, and be able to get seller financing terms. Now, in this case, with that property, the wife was very feisty, and she didn't want to answer any of my questions. But eventually I had to explain that without the answers to my questions, I wasn't going to be able to help them because it would be impossible for me to buy their property and pay them all cash. But I could still give them what they wanted and solve their hospital problem. Now, this turned out to be a very good deal for both of us. So go back and listen to a previous podcast where I explained how we solved the seller's problem. See, this technique I used is one you really need to learn and understand because you're going to find this type of situation more than you expect. The fact is, this is a technique you really need to learn so when you find a deal like this one, you'll know how to get the deal done. See, that's very important. If you don't understand how to do these deals, how will you ever be able to put them together? If you don't understand, you will simply walk away, and you're walking away from a tremendous deal possibly. That is why you must know these things, and that's why I'm making you go back and listen again to the podcasts, because there's all explained there, and it will give you education you're not going to get anywhere else. Okay, now, my third deal for this week. This was an elderly couple who wanted to sell a very nice income property they had, and they'd owned it for many years. Now remember, this was an income property. They did not live in it. Now, because the property was an income property, the owners didn't want to sell for all cash. They did not want to sell for all cash because they didn't want to lose a large portion of the money they were going to get to capital gains taxes. See, the sellers were smarter. They would only sell if I would promise to pay them a monthly payment every month for 30 years, and I had to promise to never pay off the property any sooner than 30 years. Well, that's kind of tough, but okay, I can do that. Now, the payments they would receive, that was just going to be a bonus to their meager pension plan that they needed to have a more comfortable life in their advanced years. They said they would enjoy the money from the monthly payment until the last one passed away. And then at that time, the monthly payment was going to be split equally amongst their 3 adult children. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think the adult children were going to enjoy a third of a monthly payment for years to come, possibly? Or do you think maybe I could contact them and pay them off quicker with a huge discounted amount of cash today rather than getting payments forever and ever and ever in their mind? Think about that. Well, in this situation, this property, just a few months later, another investor came along who wanted to buy the property, and they wanted to pay all cash to get it. Well, I surely could use the cash to buy more property, and I was looking to buy a property at that time. I could have used the money to buy it. Well, here's my dilemma. How could I sell the property, which would have to be paid off to deliver free and clear title to the new buyer, when I had promised not to pay the sellers off for 30 full years? Well, let me ask you, how would you solve this problem? Go back and listen to previous podcasts where I fully explain how this situation was solved. This is a very important one for you to learn. This is where everybody was happy and my promise was kept to the sellers, yet I got all cash for the property, what I sold it, that I had bought from the sellers, and then, I was able to still to deliver a free and clear title for that property to my cash buyer. Now remember, that might never step into a bank again 4-day training. I spent one whole day thoroughly explaining over 30 deals that were done creatively, knowing how to think outside the box and be able to structure deals that you had previously thought impossible will never be the case after you leave this training. That I'll guarantee you. Now, I'm doing these podcasts where I talk about these past deals for 2 reasons. Number 1, I want to show you that there are unlimited ways to buy real estate. There's not just one, all cash. There are numerous. There are hundreds of ways to make an offer. And number 2, to help make you a better and more successful investor to be able to live the lifestyle you desire. That's very important. Now, if you will re-listen my podcasts again, you're going to find a treasure trove of information you might not have understood the first time you listened to it. Well, like I usually say, the key to your success is experience. Experience is the best teacher you can get. Now, when you lack the experience, learn from someone like me who has over 40 years of doing deals and use my experience and eliminate years of struggle doing, possibly not so good deals. Think about joining me at one of my 4-day Never Step Into a Bank Again trainings. When you sign up, I'll send you all of the manuals and the extra bonuses, including the accompanying audios, immediately so you can start learning. Then you're entitled to attend any of my upcoming 4-day trainings whenever you want. You don't have to come to the next one. You can come later. I've had people now that have been able to come for 4 years and haven't attended yet, but when they decide to come, they're welcome. So, I'm offering you a unique chance to learn what others don't teach. Think about it. If you have an interest in learning what I have to teach, you can go to my website, LarryHarbolt.com, to sign up for one of my upcoming trainings. Or if you need some financial help, you can email me at LarryHarbolt@gmail.com to discuss what I'm willing to do for you. I'm currently helping others with my payment plan, so if you need my help, contact me. And don't forget, either way you sign up, you get my courses and a 4-day training that you can repeat 2 more times for free. Now, if you choose the payment plan, the entire amount must be paid before you can attend the boot camp. But let's talk about how I can make it affordable for you. And if you'd like me to email you, as a bonus, my 31-page lesson called Unwrapping the Mystery of Subject To, it's for free. Just email me at LarryHarbolt@gmail.com and request a copy, and I'll email that copy to you. And please continue to let me know what I'm sharing with you every week has some value, and also please suggest other subjects that you'd like to learn more about. Well, my friends, that's going to about do it for this week. I hope you found some value from today's topic, and I invite you to head over to LarryHarbolt.com and register to keep up to date with my tips and ideas to help you become a better real estate investor. Now, if you're not already registered, head over to LarryHarbolt.com/register to get access to my free phone script on how to negotiate with sellers over the phone. And be sure to tell a friend and leave me a review on the podcast player you're using to listen to me now. You see, your reviews help me to know that the information that I'm giving you is valuable to you and you are learning from it. Please check out my courses, articles, and available trainings on my website, and watch for my Facebook Live posts that I do every few days. And be sure to check out my coaching program at MakingBiggerProfits.com. That's MakingBiggerProfits.com. It's an affordable coaching program that will help you learn so much faster. So, hope you all have a great week. Until next time, this is Larry Harbolt.
Thanks for listening to the Real Deal Podcast with Larry Harbolt. To learn more about investing in real estate, head on over to LarryHarbolt.com and register for his educational tips and articles delivered by email.